40-year-old Randy Corbett had been a teacher at Tracyton Elementary School for 18 years in Western Washington. During that time, he'd formed a pretty good idea of what kids were capable of doing. But on the morning of September 14th, 1992, Randy was surprised to discover that sometimes children can far exceed our expectations.
That's it. Recess is over. Everybody back in class.
Among the students in Randy Corbett's new 6th grade class were Chris Sander and his best friend, 11-year-old Aaron Rankin.
When Mr. Corbett came in, he told us to sit down and to get out our math books.
Take out your homework assignment.
He looked just like he did all the other days.
Okay. Number 1, 764. Okay. You round that to the nearest 10. The answer is 760, right? Number 2, 495. Down to the nearest 10, 490. Okay, that was number 2.
His eyes rolled back and he just collapsed.
Stephen Lager didn't know what to do.
A lot of the kids were like, they were laughing and they were saying, it's just a joke, it's just a joke, don't get worried, because he's just faking it.
What's going on? Was he having a heart attack? What's going on?
Aaron just checked to see if he was breathing and checked for a pulse, and then he just started doing CPR.
My dad's a paramedic, and my mom's a nurse. And my parents taught me to do CPR if someone doesn't have a pulse. I was scared because I figured he might not live.
I was just running really hard and I was sweating because I just was thinking the faster I get there, then the sooner he'll get help and the more chance I'll have of living.
Mr. Corbett's collapsed.
Where? In our classroom. He just fell over.
Teacher Ben Peterson heard the commotion from his classroom next door.
I saw him laying on his back. I immediately felt the pressure. I've got to do something because I thought of his 2 daughters and his wife.
Aaron had come out and he was crying and shaking and everything because he thought that Mr. Corbett was going to die. And he thought that he could have done more.
Let's go into my classroom.
School principal Ann Laurie had taken a CPR class every year for the last 12 years.
When I ran into the classroom and realized that there was something awful and real happening, some of the old trainings kicked in.
2, 3, 4, 5. Come on, Randy. 1.
And that was probably one of the most frightening things that I've ever done.
5. Is he breathing? 2, no. 3.
I was very aware of the rhythm that we had established with the CPR to the point where I didn't even realize when Carrie had taken over for Ben.
Okay.
I was only hoping and praying that what we had done as a team was enough.
Within 6 minutes of Randy Corbett's collapse, rescue units with Kitsap County Fire District 15 arrived, including EMT Brian Dansky.
When we first pulled into the school, the first thing I noticed was the sign on the window that said Mr. Corbett. Instantly, that rang a bell that used to be my 6th grade teacher. I had no idea who it was actually that was down in the classroom until I moved around to his head to assist him in ventilations, and I saw that it was Mr. Corbett.
Come on, Randy.
I've done CPR on quite a few people, and you always want to save the person. But when you know the person, it's just that much extra that you want this person to survive.
Hey, still on V-fib. We're charging. Everybody stand clear. 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 Shocking. Okay, and check for pulse. No pulse.
The time that the paramedics were working on Randy were the scariest and most frightening and most horrifying 17 minutes of my life.
Everybody stand clear. 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 Shocking.
I wanted the paramedics to be done, and I wanted the happy ending to be right then and there.
Still in V-fib. We're going to charge.
Come on, Randy.
Everybody stand clear.
Clear.
Shocking. Check for a pulse.
Come on, Randy. We have a pulse.
Okay, let's get a blood pressure on him.
Right after the fish shock, we got a rhythm back, and he started to breathe somewhat on his own.
You're up.
Way to go, Randy.
36.
Randy was hospitalized for 7 days. Doctors determined that he suffers from an inherited condition which causes the electrical currents in his heart to malfunction and led to his cardiac arrest.
I had open heart surgery and had a defibrillator implanted in my chest. It sends an electrical impulse to my heart, so it's just like having a paramedic right at my side all the time with the 2 paddles. I don't look at it as something of fear. It's keeping me alive, so it's something to really be happy about.
Since the incident, Randy's wife, Sue, has learned how to do CPR.
He was lucky if this had to happen, that it happened at school. Aaron acted so quickly, and the other students and the principal and the teachers did what they needed to do, and I'm sure that saved his life.
During Randy's recovery, Aaron visited him and brought get well cards from the whole class.
Thanks.
They told me that if I hadn't done CPR, he might not have lived. Before I thought, oh, it'll never happen to me.
I'm Sue Corbett.
But now I know that it could happen to anyone.
Thanks for doing such a good job.
I was proud of myself, and I was glad that I was there that day.
The American Heart Association and the school district honored Aaron for saving his teacher's life.
The fact that he reacted so quickly in getting oxygen to Randy's brain set the stage for a successful ending. We're going to have all our 6th grade students trained in CPR.
We're here to learn CPR, and what I'm going to do is demonstrate the steps in initiating CPR, just like Aaron did on Mr. Corbett.
I believe that all children should be taught CPR all over the United States in school.
I shake and shout, hey, are you okay?
And if they're taught, there'll be a lot of lives saved.
6 weeks after his cardiac arrest, Randy Corbett was ready to return to his teaching job.
Hi.
Before it happened, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but now I do. I'm going to be a paramedic.
I wouldn't trade this class for any other class in the United States.